cross over to Sydney and ask John Borghetti, Chief Executive of Virgin Australia Airlines. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, John Borghetti. First of all, how much is this rebranding going to cost you?
Well, as we said right from the outset of the program, the Game Change program, we said it was going to be a 3-year program. We said that the first year was going to be an investment, an incremental capital investment of around $35 million. And that we would start seeing the benefits of the changes from certainly 2012.
John Borghetti, what was wrong with the airline being called Virgin Blue?
Well, there was nothing wrong with it. It was an appropriate brand for what the airline was when it started, which was a low-cost carrier. But as time moved on, and as you know, we established other brand names as well. We established Pacific Blue out of New Zealand. We established Via Australia, that operated and still operates very successfully internationally. But it does make sense to have one brand name for the total group. It obviously creates less confusion in the consumer's eyes, and also enables you to provide a more consistent product proposition under one brand name. And I think we have to also recognise the fact that, if you can have access to what is, I believe, a really truly global brand in Virgin, well, why wouldn't you use it? And if on top of all that, then you have to reposition the airline in order for it to, appeal to all sectors of the market, then what better name could you have than Virgin Australia?
Yeah, specifically the corporate market, the business travel market is, I guess, what you're after here. It's the lucrative side of things. It's something which Qantas, of course, dominates. You've got to get many of the contracts that Qantas already has in the bag. What are you identifying as the key areas that you're focusing on with regard to that?
Well, look, first, if I can take you back a bit. No, we don't have to get the contracts that Qantas has got. There's a couple of points here. First of all, we said that we're currently holding about 11 to 12% of the corporate market. We're aiming to attract 20%. So we're looking for about another 10% of the market. We're not after half the market. We're only after about another 10%. And in order to do that, you need to have a product proposition that we believe we will have, and of course yesterday we showed parts of that. So accessing some of those contracts will not be too difficult, given that a lot of those contracts are based around what is termed best fare of the day principle. And assuming your product and your schedule is suitable and appropriate, and your pricing is competitive, your capability to access that revenue is very real.
Do you plan new routes in order to garner this extra business travel market or get more of this sector?
Well, let's look at that in two parts. First of all, domestically, we fly to just about every destination there is to fly in Australia. What we have is perhaps, arguably, a regional network within Australia that is not sufficient. And to that end, we've done an arrangement with Sky West, where we will operate ATR aircraft to many regional ports, which currently are served by one carrier. So we're in a good space domestically. Internationally, we said that we're not going to invest hundreds of millions on fleet, but rather we will expand our international network through a series of very important and strategic alliances. And some of those we've announced and we've had regulatory approval for. Specifically, I talk about the Air New Zealand alliance, the Etihad alliance. As you would know, we're in discussions with the Department of Transport in America about a very strong alliance with Delta as well. And whilst that was originally rejected, there has been significant dialogue, and it is being re-evaluated by the regulators. And we are hopeful that sometime in the next couple of months we will hear back from them, and we're hopeful for a positive response, but we'll see where that goes.
What sort of a deal would you anticipate you would do with a carrier which is based in the Middle East, such as Etihad here? I can understand Air New Zealand because they have a stake in Virgin Australia.
Well, it's very interesting because the stake in Virgin Australia only came after we did the deal and we had the ACCC approval for the transaction. So, you know, the investment came after the deal. Now, with the Etihad arrangement, it's very clear. We are able to code share on all their services out of Australia. We operate 3 services a week into Abu Dhabi at the moment, and that will grow. But importantly and critically, we're able to code share out of Abu Dhabi to every port that Etihad flies to in Europe, Northern Africa, Middle East, and so on. So what that means is that we can provide a customer proposition where from Australia you can go to, let's say, Milan, Munich, and other parts in Europe, just with one stop. You don't have to backtrack through London, and it saves you time, and obviously it's more convenient. So it's a very attractive proposition. Add to that the fact that there is reciprocity in terms of the frequent flyer schemes, and you can earn and burn points on both carriers. It's a very, very strong proposition.